My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leymans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jaime Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Hello everybody, how are we? Welcome to Talking Tennis. Ready to play at the Australian Open. My name's Jack. I'm joined by Claire and Scott. So it's very funny, guys, off air actually. John had said you lead, and actually I was like, oh, that's very funny because I couldn't see either of you guys backstage, and I thought it was a joke. And then I realised, oh wait, no, I actually am leading. So I just caught myself there at the last second. But here we are. I as you say, the best improviser in the land, I'm sure.
And as Scott says, it did fix itself.
It did fix itself.
I can see you now. I can see you now.
We're all
got the best technician, joined by the best technician in the world. How are you guys?
Good.
Yeah.
I feel like I've not seen you in ages, Jack. What's been happening?
Yeah. It's been loads.
It's been a hot minute.
Loads of stuff with charity stuff we've been doing, and then loads of coaching as well. And do you know what? I might as well say it here on Talking Tennis. I'm nominated for Coach of the Year by Tennis Scotland. So
Well done.
Hey,
fingers
That's
crossed.
amazing.
get congrats in the chat, folks, for that. Like, come on, get them all sent in.
That's
Congrats.
amazing, Jack.
Thank you very
Really
much.
cool.
Thank you very much.
Really cool, man.
We'll see what happens. Shortlisted, so
Can we,
Yeah.
do we vote for that, or is that?
no, it's not. It's all chosen by Tennis Scotland's board.
Okay.
So we'll see
Okay.
what happens.
Well, keep us updated on it, man. Keep us updated on it.
hmm When do you find that out?
There we go. That's a lovely photo, isn't it? I find out at the end of March. We were lucky enough to win one as a charity last year. This is just myself this time nominated, so fingers crossed.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome, Jack. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. It'd be well deserved.
I think this year I'll go in something a bit more formal. Look at me, I'm just in like a wee
Where are you in this photo?
He's in the front row.
in the front row, on the right. Just
Oh,
in
so you are. Look at you.
He's next to the wee guy who's all suited and booted,
Yeah.
and then the guy in his kilt, and then there's Jack who's like, I don't know, Jack. That's almost like your court suit look.
Yeah.
You know, like when you see a wee guy in his dad's suit going to court. This is a very Glaswegian thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that feel. That's not good. That's not the look I was hoping to rock. So I'll try something different this year for sure.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Congrats.
You should ask Andy Murray if you can borrow his kilt.
Oh, that's a great idea. I mean,
are you considering going kilt? Is there somebody in a kilt there? To be
yeah,
fair?
no, I will. I think I will go on a kilt this year.
You reckon? Yeah.
I got one this year, so I might as well. I think it makes
Okay.
sense.
I think you should, man. I think you should.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's cool.
This does feel like a Scottish takeover of Talking Tennis right now, by the way.
We've just gone
very
full-blown Scottish right now.
Which is on brand. On brand for Andy, right? That's who we're talking. Well, not just who we're talking about.
Well, I think it's pretty clear that Novak gets through. There's 3 Scots in the show now. There was an agenda here. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
It's going to be talked about for.
It is going to be talked about. Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna take up the majority of this episode. Like John's given us some other things to like talk about in the last like 30 seconds of the show.
3 minutes.
So
Oh my God, John, where did you get that picture of me?
Oh yeah.
That's horrific.
There was Instagram stalking involved in my one for sure. So Claire, I think that's probably what he's done for you as well.
Oh my God, that is like the worst. That is horrific. Do you know when that was taken? That was taken when I was marshalling at my running club's summer run. That was in August last year, and it was meant to be a summer canal canter, and it was tipping it. I absolutely tipping it down with rain. I didn't even realise that photo existed on the internet.
It's a good thumbnail. It's a good thumbnail.
I was going to say, yeah.
You've done yourself proud there. Right, should we get stuck into the first point on the agenda, I guess? Obviously, Novak did manage to get through against Alcaraz today. Sidelined by Andy, of course. There's a few questions, I think. Did we maybe expect this before the match? Did Andy, make a huge difference?
I think without Andy, he would have lost without maybe even winning a point.
Maybe a point. Yeah, exactly.
I think
first golden bagel in Australia.
Yeah, I think so. I think Andy's presence, really defined that match. To be honest with you, in my opinion, I think almost full credit should be given to him. In my spin.
Claire, you could be the voice of reason if you want. You want to be. There needs to be some neutrality here, right? Is there?
Yeah. Do you know what I think that Andy's bringing to the partnership? Because obviously, Djokovic doesn't need someone to help him be better at tennis, right? He doesn't need that, but I think what he needs is someone who knows what it's like to never say die. Yeah. And Andy Murray doesn't say die. He just digs in and he will keep on going until the court's covered in blood and his skin and everything. That's Andy's deal. So, and I think that's what Djokovic wanted. He wanted that person in his corner who'll just be like, it's not over until it's over. And Andy's obviously massively, he's the smartest tennis brain out there. There's no denying the guy's like an encyclopedia when it comes to tennis. He would have watched every match that Alcaraz has played for the last 6 months and said to Djokovic, look, here's his weak spot. You need to watch for that. He's bringing, Djokovic probably doesn't have time to do that. So he's bringing that to Djokovic in a way that perhaps someone in his team maybe hasn't been able to do before, because Murray has actually played Alcaraz. He's beaten him. He's lost him. He's been lost to him. So I feel like that's what, Andy's bringing that to the partnership, and they just have an understanding with each other, don't they? They've got I think they've got a bond from having gone through the past 20 years on the tour together. Yeah. And you did see him looking over at Murray a lot during that match, and I don't think it was necessarily looking over to see if he was giving him advice or if he was giving him clapping his hands or whatever. I think he just was looking over to him for some reassurance. Yeah, at times, just knowing that he's there and he's got that guy in his corner.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for that. I do think that the IQ of Andy has helped Novak somewhat, and there's probably almost a tendency for maybe Novak to play a little more like Andy. It certainly feels like he's not been scared to kind of get into the longer rally. He never is, obviously, but I can imagine Andy at the sideline saying, mate, you're the most consistent player of all time. Just lean into that. Don't be scared of that. Do you know what I mean? And that could be something that went on with Alcaraz today. It felt like there were some rallies where Novak was just even more stubborn than usual, and maybe there is a bit of a tennis factor there. But more so about what you were saying, I think, Claire, it's having him in the corner is something unprecedented, I think, for Novak. It's somebody who basically is the ultimate hype man, has kind of been there and done that with Novak throughout his whole career, thus far. So he gets it. It's if you turn to, imagine I'm in Novak's box and I'm like, come on.
I think that would make a bigger difference, to be honest. Andy Murray might have achieved a lot of things, but has Andy Murray been nominated for Scotland?
I was going to say,
I think so.
It's a little illusory though, because I've not competed on the ATP tour. So if I'm if I go to a match and I'm like, come on, Novak, he doesn't get much motivation from that. It's if he sees Andy there, it's if he still believes I can do this, then I believe I can do this, because Andy's done this a million times and he knows what it feels like to be this far into a match and be tearing your hair out trying to win points. If Andy still believes I can do it, then I believe I can do it. I genuinely think that's huge. It must be huge.
For sure.
Surely.
No, absolutely. Like, I think there's maybe also something to be said, and I do genuinely mean this, like, in terms of, like, like, we all laugh about it, like, and joke about the whole fact that, like, when Novak obviously gets angry on the court and starts swearing in Serbian, like, saying all sorts of things, I imagine. Like, I do think there's something to be said for the fact that Andy is there and just literally, like, he doesn't understand anyway, and he doesn't care, like, what Novak is saying. He can't understand what Novak's saying, so like, he's screaming towards his box. Obviously, his coach, Andy's there, and Andy's like, don't really understand what you're saying, man. Like, don't really know. And I think that probably helps, like, Novak to just vent it out and then be like, right, well, that'll be that then, and just move on to the next point. And I think you saw it so many times today. Like, you saw it happen so many times today. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to, like, get into, like, the nitty gritty about exactly what took place here, but I do genuinely think, like, I did feel like especially like at the start of the second set, like it's the first time in a while. It's the first time maybe ever that I genuinely was like, he's not going to win this. Novak's not going to win this. Like, he's really struggling. Even when he was like up a break, I was like, because he was playing that kind of game style that you do see injured players play, where you just hit the ball as hard as you can, and like what goes in, you win. But you really can't win tennis matches playing like that. Like, you can win a few games and go up a break, but you don't win an entire 3-set match against somebody like Alcaraz, like, playing like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't do that. And then obviously we did see, like, he didn't play like that. He did end up, easing up and getting into the rallies again. But like, for a few games there, I was like, he can't be doing this for the entire match. So yeah, I don't know. Like, in terms of like tactical know-how, I don't know if like they would have discussed that before going on the court. Like, like, tell you what, Novak, if you're feeling injured out there, just hammer the ball as hard as you can, mate. Like, you ever thought about just hitting it harder and harder and harder and just hoping for the best? Maybe just try that. Like, but yeah, I mean, we saw what happened after that. So
I feel like he like in the first set, like, Carlos just completely dominated the match, and I feel like Novak wasn't really anywhere to be seen. And I mean, I think you actually used the phrase "Djokovic is washed" at one point this morning, Scott. I think that was your exact words. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, we've seen him do this so many times. If anyone can attest to we've got this against Novak, it's the three people who are sitting having this discussion right now. We have been there on multiple occasions where we've been like, right, Andy's got him. He's got him now. And then he comes back and like, just the heads drop there, Jack. That's exactly what he does. You can't write the guy off ever. I mean, Djokovic could be losing 6-love, and like 5-love and 40-love in the third set, and I still wouldn't say it's over yet. Like, he could still come back and win that match in 3 sets. It's what he does. And I think he got under Carlos's skin.
Yeah.
Halfway through the second set, and when he took the second set, that was it. Even when they were exchanging breaks of serve for a while, like 1 minute it was
going up from there, definitely.
Yeah, and it was just, he had him, and he got him exactly where he wanted him in the end. And also, I mean, I think Alcaraz was injured towards the end. Like, he looked as if he had cramp in his thigh. I did see a few people on Twitter saying he was taking the piss out of Djokovic.
I don't think so.
There's people saying that. I don't think he would do that. He's not that kind of person to like take the mickey out of someone. So I do think he was genuinely, he was like stiffening up, or if it was cramp, I don't know. But Djokovic had him exactly where he wanted him by the time the fourth set came around. But when the fourth set started, I knew, I was like, this isn't going to go to 5. It's not going to go to 5.
But it's interesting, because I do think like there's something to be said, like like the video that was quite wholesome, where Andy went up to Carlos and like the gym afterwards, and like gave him a wee like fist bump. Was like, oh, well played. Do you think Andy was like, I've been there. I've been there to Carla. Mate, I can relate. I know exactly how you're feeling right now. Just take it.
Yeah. It's almost just like even it doesn't even need to say it, does it? You know, Alcaraz knows how many times Andy's been in the final here. It's like
yeah.
Just, even just being there and fist pumping, that's enough, isn't it? You don't even say it. You don't even need the part words, do you?
Yeah. What were your thoughts on it, Jack? Like, what did what were your thoughts on the entire match in general?
Fantastic. Clear that Novak can reach the same level that he needs to win this overall. And I don't think that was clear last year going into the semi-finals. And it obviously was more apparent when he kind of got swept by Sinner in those first 2 sets, and you were like, yeah. But the writing was on the wall, and it's like we kind of knew he wasn't really hitting his stride. That was hitting his stride for sure. That's pretty close to as good as he could play sometimes. Really, really great serving, amazing from the back of the court, better than Carlos for most of the match actually, which is saying something. He's got the level to beat Sinner if he needs to. Let's be honest, he's the favourite against Zverev. We can get on to the Zverev match in a second. They've had some close matches at the same time, so for sure. You know, if Novak has a little kind of a niggle and that gets worse, then there genuinely could be a kind of 5-set win on the cards for Zverev if things don't go well recovery wise. But I've always trusted Novak to kind of bounce back. I would say after that match, I'm pretty confident he gets to the final.
Are you confident that he wins though? Because like the one defeat that he's had here since 2018 against Sinner obviously still in the tournament very much so.
I think he's the favourite. I still think he's the favourite. Like
you think so?
Yes,
really?
Yes, Sinner's playing amazingly, but last year when he played him, it was a totally different match. Like you still got to think, well, there's a reason the guy's won 10 titles here. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's kind of difficult because you're like, right, yeah, the guy's won like 10 titles here. He's like the greatest player of all time. Like, generally speaking, we all kind of agree on that, right? But he's playing a guy who's currently holding 2 majors and is world number 1 and is, kind of, do you know what I mean?
He might be to reverse, Scott, and this is the thing. I would definitely think Novak's getting to the final. Yannick, well, probably definitely beat de Minaur.
Yeah, can I just say, like, yes, he is. Like, I full love to de Minaur, but like, come on.
It's not a good matchup.
Unfortunately, he doesn't have the game to beat somebody like Sinner. I'm so sorry.
Shelton Sonego, or you want Sonego in a final?
Yeah, I don't want either of them in a final. Like, no offense to either of them, but
no, like I do hate to say it, but like it's not happening.
You're probably right. You know, Sinner's a pretty heavy favourite against all those guys. But I suppose we maybe talk about the matchup when it definitely happens. I guess on both sides. You know, yes, it's more about Djokovic Zverev in the meantime, I think. And we could a fun segue, I guess, into that match against Tommy Paul. I think plenty of chances for Tommy Paul. I don't know if either of you got to see it.
Actually didn't. I didn't see it too much, but I did see that. Did Paul not serve for the first set and the second set? Is that right or no?
He did serve for both sets. Yeah, so I think he was up 6-5 in the first set, up 5-3 in the second set, and then some pretty paltry tie breaks after that. Not so good.
Was it just like a mental failure from Paul, or was it a step up of the game from Zverev?
And this is the problem. I didn't get to see enough of the match. I didn't see what happened when they
Valid.
served.
Somebody drop it in.
I suppose we need somebody on the show that's not in kind of central European time zone, right?
Somebody who can watch.
Sure that one was on at an awful time. So no, I didn't.
Yeah, it was like 4 a.m. I mean, to be honest, that one could have been on at the most perfect time of day, and I wouldn't have watched it. I will not watch a match that Zverev plays. I would rather gouge my eyes out with a rusty spoon.
It's entirely valid. There's you know what? There's actually very few matches in tennis that I would get up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. for. I have done it this tournament for Novak and Andy, of course. But yeah, that matchup Like, I'm not, I'm not jumping out of bed at 3 for that. But yeah, I mean, Zvev's Zverev. Like, nobody likes him, but he's very unfortunately good at the sport. So
Yeah.
I fully expect him versus Novak to at least be a 4-setter, potentially 5. And we'll see, I guess, right? Novak, yeah. I mean, it's the. I'm gonna say this, and you guys might scoff. Is the injury a worry for Novak or no? Like,
No,
you
please.
think?
I think, as I was saying, I trust him to recover, but I do think Zverev will try and make it physical because that's pretty much all he can do.
That's all he can do, yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's not a hugely creative player, is he?
The thing is, though, there is a wee bit of a danger. I still think Novak's the favourite, but there is a wee bit of a danger there because he is serving really well.
Yeah.
Then if Novak doesn't have the legs, it could get really tough. I remember a 4-set match against Zverev a few years ago at the Australian Open. I don't know if you guys remember this one, but Novak really struggled throughout that entire match. It was really, really close the entire time. It might have been like a 4-hour match. And obviously if Zverev can replicate that, he's probably in a better position now to make that even more gritty.
Yeah.
Then it could be really, really difficult.
Yeah, I find it interesting though, and again, I'll say you see some people who aren't exactly huge fans of Novak being like, oh, he was faking the injury, he was, playing it up to it, and like, regardless of how you feel in that case, he did say on the court that if he'd lost the second set, he probably would have withdrawn. Do you guys buy that? Are you guys playing into that?
No, I don't see Djokovic at this age retiring from a match. Like Andy,
so?
I mean, like Andy very rarely retired from a tennis match, and I feel like Djokovic has got that same kind of mentality. It's like, I'll just keep going. So it's fair enough for him to have said that in hindsight. Once the match was done and dusted and he had won it. But I can't see Djokovic, not with the competitive nature and the mentality that he's got, getting to the end of a second set that he's lost and going, nah, I'm out, I can't do this for 5. Because that man knows if anyone can do it in 5, it's him.
Yeah, true.
So,
yeah, I don't think he would have either, for sure.
No.
I am a little like, I can totally empathize with the people that watch Novak and they're like, oh, he's faking it, because I remember what it used to feel like when he was.
We all remember the 2015 Australian Open final.
Did you? It's interesting, like, because I wouldn't necessarily say, obviously for obvious reasons, I never felt like I was a huge fan of Novak. I just obviously didn't really want him to win at that point. Now I would say I'm quite a big fan of Novak. I'm obviously, I'm a big fan of Novak now. But like back then, obviously it was difficult to root for him. But I don't know if I found myself thinking that he was like gamesmanshipping or anything like that. I don't know if I ever thought that, or saw that. Maybe I was just being naive at the time, or didn't see it, or didn't think it. But
it definitely, it crossed my mind. To be fair, it did cross my mind, like 100%.
I'm not saying it wasn't there for sure.
I'm willing to say that it was bias, and I could see me watching that match now and thinking, yeah, he is injured, because I know how he kind of reacts to being injured. It's like he does just dig in. It doesn't really stop him playing. He just kind of like takes over mentally a bit, and that's always been the case with Novak. I've never seen him injured that it actually really makes him play that much worse, if that makes sense. So it's just frustrating to watch, and I kind of get why I would think it's gamesmanship, but
yeah. But I also think as well there needs to be an onus on the opponent here as well, because
I think so.
If they're like, oh, he's injured, okay, I'm going to drop my level. If you choose to do that, that is your fault. Like that, it sounds like that is a massive you problem. There's other people out there who do not look like they're injured. Like, for example, let me just, guys, I'm sorry, it's all, I'm always going to bring up an Andy Murray match, right? But let's look at Wimbledon 2017, when Andy was literally balancing on one leg at one point, and Sam Querrey, he took no prisoners. He saw his opportunity and he was like, I'm just going to serve where he can't move. So if you think your opponent's injured and you allow that to drop your own guards, then that's your own fault. Like you shouldn't be thinking about my opponent's injury. You should just be thinking about your own game. This has come from the person who has not been nominated for Scottish Tennis Coach of the Year, by the way.
Yeah, is that what you're recommending to your students, Jack? If one of them is in a similar situation?
100%, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You concentrate on yourself, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's what Novak does. It's so funny talking about Novak because he just is not. He's not really human. He just like, do you know what I mean? Like when we think about injuries, it always pretty much impedes the player. But for him, it's just like, I'm sure it might be something that he can feel, but it doesn't impact how he moves on the court pretty much ever. Very, very rare that we see him kind of limping during points.
What do you guys think? Obviously, like Alcaraz has commented on it, like a lot of people saying, online as well that like Carlos, like Carlos himself says, "Oh, I let him back into the match. I let him back into the match. It was my fault that And then obviously he started playing really, really well, and like he kind of rode the wave of momentum through the rest of the match. What like, and I'm not, I don't know. Again, you're the coach, Jack, so maybe you can like help us out here. Like what should he have done differently? Because I did see that like at the start of that second set, he was definitely testing Novak. He was moving him around a little bit. He was using the drop shot. He was trying to get him running, and he was pushing that. From there, obviously, Novak then ended up kind of loosening up a little bit. Like his leg wasn't bothering him as much, etc. Like I don't necessarily know if Carlos, like I don't know, but like maybe he needed to try something else. I guess, but like it wasn't like he didn't. You know what I mean?
I think he was trying other stuff for the Scottish side.
Yeah, I thought so.
I definitely think he was kind of throwing the kitchen sink at Novak, and maybe there's questions of rally tolerance, and that's the thing that needs to improve for Alcaraz. We talked about that a couple of years ago, and sometimes I think it does come into play in matchups like with Novak, and it's Carlos that has to come up with all the other ideas. So I don't know. I don't think. Alcaraz probably didn't really do anything wrong. He does have to change stuff up. If we're being honest, I think Novak is more solid from the back of the court. So, I mean, Alcaraz is saying he kind of let him back in, but I don't think the game plan was unsound. Do you know what I mean? It's just that he didn't execute, and that's tennis. And then the second set went away, and that was that. It just is what it is. I don't think it's that.
I mean, it is also just worth remembering that, like, Novak's got 15 years experience on this guy, like that counts. That level of experience counts, that knowing that you've done this before, you can get through it again multiple times. I think having that in the back of your mind, and it's not to say that Carlos doesn't have that in the back of his mind, but he's not done it as much as Novak has.
Yeah.
Like Novak's dug deep so many times and got himself out of so many tricky situations and still emerged victorious. Carlos has as well, but he's not done it as often.
Yeah.
And so like and because what age is Carlos? 21?
21.
21, right? So like in 10 years' time, he's still going to be playing, and he'll probably be an even higher level than he is now. He'll be annihilating players, and people will be going, "Oh, how's he losing? How's he winning against players that are much younger than him and fitter and blah blah blah?" Because he's done this before. This isn't his first rodeo, and I feel like it's the same. It's the same with Novak.
Yeah, totally. I think maybe if we were talking about how does that translate to the court, the serve was a big factor as well. It's like Novak just kind of rolls through service games sometimes. He places it so well.
Does he have the best serve in men's tennis currently? Because up there.
Yeah, I've always said pound for pound. I think he does. Yeah.
Like just his placement of it. Like
yeah, it's so good. And it's the same with the second serve though. There's so few players that play the second serve like Novak in a hard court. He keeps it quite fast. Carlos is still kind of kicking his, and that made a big difference. Sometimes it just got him up in points where Alcaraz wasn't able to do the same thing, and if it's a few points here or there, then it makes a big difference obviously in the second set, and that was that basically. There's loads of factors, definitely. What were you going to say?
No, well, I was just like talking about factors and stuff. I did think that like the Wimbledon final might have played or might have had more of a kind of influence on how the match kind of played out, because obviously like the Olympics came along, but I thought like the general consensus is that like the Olympics was like an anomaly. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it was its own thing that just like came along and like happened because it was meant to happen in tennis. It was the only thing that like Djokovic needed to complete the game. But like the Olympic final felt much more of a kind of, this is how things are now. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I thought that that would have had more of an impact coming in, because obviously that was the last major that they played in. But yeah, it just didn't seem to. You know, Novak just turned up and it was business as usual. Like, so I don't know. Like, I guess he operates differently from most other players in terms of, you know, overcoming this.
We can't be too surprised, really, can we?
No.
Not at all.
No.
I think unless we've got anything else to say about the match, we've talked about Djokovic Zverev as well. Do we move on now?
Yeah, I would just like to say that Andy was looking great. He was looking like a sexy beast.
Yeah, he was looking fantastic.
He was looking good. Novak was looking pretty sexy as well. But sexy just like to say that on record.
Sexy all around in the Djokovic camp. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Well, those two.
Sure about the rest. Before you said about the rest, I'm sure the rest of his team are very sexy too. Anyway, on that note, let's move on. Let's move on.
Right, our next point on the agenda. EGA Arena final possibly looming. Some other kind of stories on the ladies' side as well. Did we get to see any of the matches today? Did we get to see Sabalenka winning her match? It was quite rocky, actually. That's the first net she's dropped in quite a while. And to be honest, she even came into that third set. Like I was expecting a big bounce back, and she goes down a break, and then she goes down a break again. And it was just like the level was all over the place for a while. Of course, this match was prime time viewing, so I did get to see a wee bit of it. But yeah, all over the place. What did we think? It was good to right the ship in the end, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she was losing her serve at points. I don't know what was happening with her serve at points throughout that match, but I think that again it shows that sort of just that steely grit and determination that she's got now that she maybe didn't have 2-3 years ago. And she's getting through these matches because honestly, like, I think that Pavlyuchenkova was playing really well. And it wasn't a case of, I don't think it was a case of Sabs was playing badly. It was, she had upped her game as well. And she really was going toe to toe with her for the first two sets. Like, you know, you couldn't really separate them. And I think at the end, Sabalenka just tired her out. It could have gone either way, you know. Like, and I know that's such a cliche thing to say in a tennis match when there's two people. Of course, it could go either way because one of them's going to win and one's going to lose. But they were pretty close for a while. I like them both, but I'm glad that Irina won. I want her to win. I'd like her to, especially now that Coco's out. I'd like her to win her third Australian Open.
Likewise. Scott, did you get to catch any of this happening?
Just the end of it, just the last 20 minutes of it. Yeah, it seemed the wind was a big factor in this match, right? Like super duper, like the elements out there was really impacting
it.
it.
Not help with the serve a lot.
For sure.
A lot of dodgy serves, and particularly for Sabalenka, who lost like 5 in a row in the tail end of the second set to the start. I would say.
It did have like a vibe of like inevitability about it though. Like where like as soon as she righted the ship, she was gonna get through it. You know? No, you didn't see that.
No, like, when she got that first break back and then she lost another break, it was like had Pavlyuchenkova got that next game, I don't know. It felt she just wasn't playing great. It felt very all over the place, and that really was a scare. And she could have lost that match, I think, quite easily. So she did a really good job. I think this next matchup with Badosa will be quite similar. Badosa may be a similarly heavy hitter, so if the elements are just as dodgy, it could be difficult for Sabalenka. But on a kind of clean day, then I would expect plain sailing for her. So,
yeah, they're good pals, aren't they?
Very good.
Yeah, I think they're like best friends. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very wholesome. They won't be that close on the court, no doubt.
I mean, this is far the biggest match they've played against each other, so it'll be really interesting to see how.
Yeah, this is Badosa's first semi-final. Is that right? Amazing. I think it is.
Yeah, I want to see quarterfinals of the deepest run. I think she got there at Wimbledon.
Yeah. And I don't think they've ever met each other this far into a tournament, have they? It's always been like when they've played in the past, it's been in the early rounds, mostly because Badosa's been coming back from injury and she's maybe not been seeded, or she's had like a low seeded spot. So they've met much earlier on. So it's going to be a really interesting. I think Sabalenka will win it, but I do think Badosa will give it a really good run for her money.
Yeah, it could be really interesting. Badosa's that kind of player that you can take the ball out of your hands in some matchups. But I just think, honestly, if it's a clean day, then Sabalenka will have no problems. More so than against Pavlyuchenkova. I think the bigger intrigue is probably on the other side of the draw, where a lot of people are saying Swiatek might get to the final, and we might finally get that matchup in a big Grand Slam final. However, it's no cakewalk for sure. Navarro, yes, I think Swiatek's way too good for Navarro in terms of just ball striking ability. Navarro maybe a little less powerful than some of the players she can play. But the other quarter of that draw, unfortunately, that could be very, very tough for Iga. So with Madison Keys and Elina Svitolina at the Australian Open, I think either of them could beat Swiatek.
Who's your
I would agree with that.
Who's your pick for the title at this point?
Well, my pick for the final first is probably going to be Keys. Is so tough to pick always because you just don't know what you're going to get. But Keys could
her story's quite interesting at the moment, isn't it, Keys? Because she's also changed racket this year, and she's changed things up a little bit. Is it her husband's or coach? Is that right? I don't know if that's a new thing. I think her husband is coaching her, and I'm not sure if that's a new appointment. Maybe somebody can tell us in the chat. But yeah, her husband coaches her, and there was a cute interview with her where she was like, "Yeah, it's been an interesting process, and I think the most difficult part is accepting that he's right about a lot of things." So it's quite wholesome to see. But yeah, obviously she's trying new things, and we're kind of seeing the results of it. So yeah, she could be dangerous for sure. Could be dangerous for.
Is it Fratangelo? Is that her husband?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and Jake saying,
Fratangelo, whatever it is.
Yeah, been coaching for a while. Yeah,
I didn't realize that. Yeah, so he used to be kind of top 200 in the world. Very, very good player. So yeah, he's quite a good player to have as your coach. To be fair, quite a good.
Absolutely. I think she asked him. She asked him, and he said he wasn't keen for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like, he wasn't keen, and then he was like, "Oh, let's give it a go." See, and obviously, I mean, seemed to be producing the results. But yeah, new racket as well for her this year. So
well, yeah. I'm tempted to back Keys. I think to the final.
Okay.
I think when she's in that kind of groove of being able to hit the ball as well, she is. Particularly against Swiatek, she'll really struggle. I actually am just wondering if she'll get through Svitolina. If she does get through Svitolina, I would fancy her beating Iga, and I think Iga would beat Svitolina. So it's quite
interesting. Yeah.
As much I totally agree with you, Jack. And as much as I would like to see Sabalenka retain her title for the third time, I would love to see Madison Keys get a major. I would love to see that. It would be absolutely amazing. She's been around for such a long time, and she's been such a prolific player, and she always seems like a really, really lovely person as well. I'd really like to see her get a win.
It would be a great story. I do, however, circling back to Scott's question, think Sabalenka will win.
Same.
Yeah.
There's been some trials and tribulations, and that's what she needed, I think. It's not been totally crazy, but at the same time, I think just a little bit of a test should be enough to then maybe swing a little bit more freely in our next match, and that should be enough to just jump off and win the title. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think too many other factors like we can discuss until the cows come home, the other side of the draw, etc., etc. But
I will just say that poll I think is quite optimistic. That's quite a lot of people.
Yeah.
Surprised
at that. Although Iga, let's be fair, she has looked phenomenal this tournament. To be fair,
she's looked good, but then as soon as you play a player that can kind of rush her, she can go back into her shell a little bit.
Claire's not a fan.
Right. We always bring this up. It's not that I think I reckon that off court. I don't hate her. I reckon that off court Iga is perfectly lovely. Do you know what I mean? Because she seems really sweet and shy and introverted, and I think she's probably a really, really lovely girl. I just don't like her on court. I don't know what it is. There's something. She's so clinical in her tennis. Like, her tennis is technically perfect, and I think it's because I know that she would like absolutely destroy me if I ever came up against her. But she's like, I don't know what it is about her that I don't like on court. I've seen her play live. Like, I saw it at Wimbledon, and
that's right, yeah.
It was a great experience. But there's something about her on court demeanor that I'm not a fan of, and it is that she's so focused and she's just totally head in the game. But yet when I see her off court, I think she's lovely.
I did have the same.
It's not a personal thing.
I had the same thought as Jake, actually. I do think she's very robotic. There's not all the responses to winning points and losing points feel very almost like
you want to see
with her coaches and stuff.
You want to see a bit more personality from her on the court? Is that?
Yeah. I to be fair, I really like watching her because I think it's just insanely good. So I just appreciate the tennis side, Claire, but I totally get why you would kind of be that, just feeling that. Like, she's not very colourful, definitely in terms of personality.
And for the benefit of Ghosty, I do think she is a perfectly lovely girl.
There she is. Yeah, no, I do know what you mean, to be fair. Like, I think
you sometimes wish you'd lose more matches, I guess.
I think I have the same kind of I do have the same kind of problem with her as I did with I'm gonna come out. This may make people mad. I guess Nadal. I never warmed hugely to Nadal, and I feel like they're maybe cut from the same kind of cloth in that way. Like, on court, like very like strictly like by the book, everything. And I never warmed to him a huge amount, like to the extent that he really annoyed me at times. So I would maybe compare it a little bit to that. So apologies, guys. I didn't hate Nadal. I just never. He's definitely my least favorite of the big three.
I can't believe you've just outed yourself as a Nadal hater. That's unbelievable.
I know.
That was my second favorite, I think.
Oh, really? After Andy, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I loved watching that.
that's Nadal just getting told in the press. That's somebody being like, did you hear Scott Barkley at Barclaycard 18? Did you see that? Did you hear that he said he wasn't a fan? That's
he'd just be like, it is what it is.
Sorry, no, that's him saying who? Who you talk about? Sorry. I know care, no. That's what he said. I'll be quiet now.
It's descending into chaos.
Yeah, it is.
Naturally. Moving on from Nadal's response to the Scott Barkley incendiary press conference, let's go on to the schedule for today's matches. We can talk about a few of the matchups. Just very quickly, we've got 4 quarterfinals on the cards. So we can start with let's start with one of the men's matches. Sheldon Sonego. How much do I want to say about Sheldon Sonego? It's cool Sonego's got to a quarterfinal, to be fair. I'm quite liking that story.
This seems like the battle of the two players who you can guarantee aren't winning the tournament.
Oh, that is cold.
It's probably true. Sonego's done a very good job kind of fending off the new gen, though. Quite like that aspect.
I've got nothing against either of them, but like
Chelsea,
I'm fully aware that this is how tennis tournaments work. But I see this match and I'm like, what are we doing here?
I'm sorry, but Shelton's annoying. Like, Shelton is annoying. Like, he just. I don't know why people just are like, oh no, that's just like, he's got that college tennis kind of personality. Shelton's
a lad.
So
bit of a lad.
He's a bit of a lad. He's like
I feel like there's so many of the American men right now that are just like frat boys. They
Yeah, I would
just
agree.
give off that vibe. I think the only one who doesn't really come across that way is Taylor Fritz, and I think it's because Morgan would never allow it. But I feel like the rest of them, even Tiafoe's got a little bit of a kind of like frat boy.
Talking about the clowns. Do you see that? Talking about clowns. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Oh, you've not seen that? Oh my god! There's like a quote from Tiafoe, and
Oh yeah. I did see this.
He's losing to everybody. He's losing to clowns on the tour. They
Yeah.
basically find like if you're 60 odd in the world and he's losing to you, then you're a clown. And it's like that's frat boy personality right there.
Yeah.
Frat boy energy. Yeah. It's interesting because whenever I see like American like men's tennis, I'm like, who's going to be the next major winner? Like from them, I'd wager to say that like none of them. Like maybe the next men's winner of a major from America isn't currently on the men's tour. Like I would, like is still in juniors right now. Like I don't see any of them really. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I would totally have said. I totally would have said Tiafoe a few years ago. But
winning a major though.
I could have seen. So. Do you know? I could have seen him. I always feel like if anyone's going to win, if any kind of like person outside of like the usual suspects is going to win, it'll be the US Open, and I always kind of pictured him winning the US Open in front of a home crowd. But I don't see it. I don't picture that happening anymore.
Nah, not at all. Also, as much as like, we thanks Fritz for beating Zverev all the time. Like Fritz is never winning a major. Like,
no, bless him.
Unfortunately, that's not taking place. So yeah,
I would like to see it happen because I can imagine that Morgan would absolutely goat in like the outfit stakes, and she would just look incredible sitting in the stands.
Yeah,
I'm here for it to see her.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy Paul, of course. Thank you for the reminder, Rachel, in the comments. Tommy Paul is the ultimate frat boy.
Yes.
Yeah, Tommy Paul's huge frat boy energy. He's also never winning a major either, so that's like that's not taking place. So are we saying that?
Yeah. Do you guys remember? Did you see when the Americans had the Davis Cup tie against Britain, and then they put on Tommy Paul and definitely another singles player, maybe Fritz, on the doubles instead of Rajiv Ram, and then everybody was complaining about it online. Yeah, exactly. That's enough said. Tommy Paul is just like that's old Chad, man. It's like old Chad.
So is Shelton winning that match, or is he not?
Yeah.
Yeah, like did you get to that? Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna call Sonic for fun.
You're saying that because this match doesn't matter.
Yeah, not really. Exactly. That's very cool. And then obviously Sinner de Minaur. We know who our picks are. It's just not a great matchup. I think we've seen that in the past. de Minaur doesn't serve well. Sinner can hit through him. It's probably going to be straight sets. There's not really much else to it.
It will be straight sets. Yeah, like I'll be stunned.
Yeah.
Oh, little asterisk, by the way. Sorry, I just saw that in the comments. I really like Tian. He's an American that I could get behind for sure.
Yeah.
I've not seen much of him, to be honest. Like I've not seen many of his matches, but I have heard like everyone who talks about him has only good things to say.
Yeah, he's very, very exciting. Not a massive guy, so he's not just slapping down serves. He's just got an insane baseline game, so he's good. And he seems like he's quite cool.
So in the comments, Rachel has said if Jack Draper was American, he would give frat boy energy, and I totally agree with that.
I would concur with that
I
too.
could so see that.
That's so accurate. Yeah.
Because he's got that like he's like he's like a lad, isn't he?
Yeah.
Jack Draper.
A lad. Yeah. Corda, I like Corda. I can get behind Corda. I think Corda, you could think he's a frat boy, but actually he just seems quite chill. I don't know. He's chiller.
So he played doubles with Andy that one time. So
he played doubles with Andy that one time. Exactly.
He's also beaten Andy a few times.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that has happened. Never mind.
Right, back to the other matches. We've also got Madison Keys, Svitolina. Kind of touched on that a bit. But actually, I'd be interested to hear who you guys think is winning that one.
I'll go Keys.
I think Keys.
I'll go Keys here.
I think
mainly
it's
for
gonna
the
be tough.
reason. Yeah.
Svitolina is almost perpetually that kind of quarter-final, semi-final stager. And she's always got great matches in her, but then not the next one.
Yeah, and I would say that she's staying at that level. To be honest, I don't think, unfortunately,
It's a win-win. It's a win-win, isn't it? Though it's a win-win. I think we'd be happy to see either player go through there.
For sure. But I will say that I think Keys has too much power for her. Playing very well, got the consistency. I think it might be straight sets too. To be honest, I'll go and say I'll say that. I'll put that out there into the universe.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
I was feeling that as well. Scott.
Yeah.
And then of course Iga and Navarro.
Well.
Yeah, it's gonna be Iga, isn't it? I mean, there's no question.
Shall we just skip on by that?
I mean, so I mean, we can give a bit of context. We know what's going to happen, but Navarro's not had a straight sets match the whole tournament. It's been against a lot of players who have other skill sets besides power, apart from Peyton Stearns, who maybe should have even won that first round. Jabeur, Kasatkina, different skill sets to try and win matches. Tells you Navarro is obviously an insanely good player, but it's not power that she's using to kind of force her way through these matches. So I just it's not going to end well, I don't think.
No. Yeah, she hasn't had a straight sets match this tournament, right up until now, when she's going to have a straight sets match.
Yes.
And she'll lose it.
Exactly.
Unfortunately. Hey.
I know we've got John's comment in the comments there. We will have a watch along for Emma and Iga, including our resident poll. Plus that is obviously Damien, if you're not aware. Plus fans from columns. Perfect. That sounds like a great lineup for the watch along.
Indeed.
Definitely join them there. That'll be around 2 a.m. our time. So what is that?
No, I will be in bed.
I will also be asleep.
Stop finding.
Don't let that stop you at home. Don't let that stop you at home.
Jack though. Jack will be awake for it, right, Jack?
I will not be awake for that. Definitely not.
Jack will be getting ready for his winter speech. For his...
In 2 months.
On 2 months, in 2 months' time. Okay.
That's going to be a long time to wait to be disappointed, I think. I know. Well, we'll see what happens. We've got
classic Scottish.
I only meant if I was preparing a winter speech for 2 months, Scott, and then I inevitably lost. That would be brutal. So I think I'll have to wing it, just so I don't have to suffer that heartache. John reminded me, favourite meltdowns. This is the 6th anniversary of Pablo Carreno Busta's meltdown on court against Nishikori. I guess that's as good a reason as any to talk about favourite meltdowns. If we have any, it's quite tough to bring ones to mind off the top of your head, but if anybody has anything we can think of immediately, we can hear.
Was it Bublik this year who just smashed like 5 rackets in a row? Or what? I can't remember if it was him or not.
Bublik did do that once, yeah. But that was a wee while ago, I think, maybe a couple of years ago.
No, there's a clip of somebody this year, isn't there? Who
just getting one after the other out.
Baghdad, Baghdad's already did it.
Shackleton Rome is fantastic.
Shackleton.
Yeah, that one was amazing.
That's great. That's great. Everybody that quote is it like pops up. That's definitely a global one.
Yeah.
I think that one's better than Carreno Busta's, even because like Carreno Busta's, at least it was at the end of the match and he was raging that he'd lost, and it was absolutely phenomenal the way he threw his bag across the court. But that one, when he shouted at the crowd and his voice broke.
I know. It just gave you that, like, you knew as soon as he did it, it's like, you did not think about that one iota. That is like the last thing you should do to an Italian crowd. Oh, you've got an invader there.
I do.
It's Andy Furry.
Andy Frey. That is not his name. I need to clarify that. Just enjoy and have a look around. Just ignore him. Continue.
What is his name?
Yeah, this is Alpin.
Alpin, like the cereal.
So that's what
Sorry,
everyone's.
yeah.
I like how there's 3 Scottish people on this call, right? This is my partner's cat, and my partner is Spanish, and she named him Alpin, and she's like, she loves like Scottish history and stuff like that, and she was like, so one of the first things she said was, you know, when we were getting to know each other, tell me that she had cats and stuff, and she was like, so I named him Alpin, just because, you know, I really like Scotland, and I was like, excuse me, like, and she was like, yeah, like, because the first king of Scotland was called, and I was like, not a clue. Like, and it's like Kenneth MacAlpin was the first king of Scotland, and I was like, no Scottish person knows that. I'm so sorry. So,
See, if someone was to ever say to me what was the name of the first king of Scotland, I would just immediately be like James, because it has to be a James.
Nope, it is a Kenneth. Kenneth.
King Kenneth.
Kenneth MacAlpin. There we go.
Maybe the muesli might be named after the king as well.
Yeah, could be. But of course, when like I was like, Alpin, like the cereal, she was like, no. Like, I was like, everyone is going to say that. Like, everyone is going to say that. But yeah, he's jumping around the room now. He's very excited. So apologies for that. But yeah.
I don't know if we have any other matchups to talk about. I mean, we talked about a few of the meltdowns that are popping up on screen now. I mean, I guess we've got some Brits in the doubles. I don't know if you've seen that. Julian Cat.
I haven't really been keeping up with the dubs, to be honest. I really should watch more dubs, but
I think the doubles has been hard to watch, like, because of the time that it's been on.
I mean, if there was a final that included, I really like Henry Patton after that insane Wimbledon final. I would definitely tune into that. He's paired up with Helio Vara. Maybe if he gets to a final, then I'll clock my interest, I guess. But otherwise, I don't know. I'm not too fussed, to be fair. Henry Patton and Olivia Nichols as well in the next doubles, but no Jamie. That's the main thing. You know,
no.
Jamie.
Went out in round 2. Did he?
Yeah, he went out.
Ouchie.
Yeah. And my neighbour's niece, Maya Lumsden, went out in round 2 as well, which was unfortunate.
Oh, Maya went out in round 2. Oh, that's good. To be fair.
Yeah.
I've been paying attention to Maya Lumsden's progress, actually. I didn't know she was. So her aunt lives near you.
Her aunt lives next door to me. Yeah.
Right. I see.
Yeah, she's kind of local. She's from Bearsden, so she's not too far from me.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, I did think it was Bearsden. You're in Bishop Briggs, right? Is that right, Claire?
Lindsay.
I see.
God, come on, Jack.
I know so. Did you not? Was there a Bishop Briggs link? Have I got that totally wrong?
It's close by.
Did you maybe take your kids to the tennis club there or something at some point, or have I totally made that up?
Yeah, you've made that one up.
No, never mind.
And on that note,
yeah, now we're getting into the minutiae of Glaswegian geography. Come on, it's totally going off the rails. I do think that is quite a good note to end on. Actually, do we have anything else to discuss? A la Australian Open.
Novak for the title.
Novak for the title.
Novak for the title.
I mean,
definitely Novak for the title.
In chat, give us a Serbian flag.
Yeah.
AVG style.
Have you guys ever been to Serbia?
No.
I think I'd like to go. See it.
Like Belgrade?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. See what it's like. Sure, it's quite nice. And on that note.
John has been to Belgrade. There we go.
Oh, there we go. John, you can tell me more about whether or not it's good to visit or not after this call.
John went just before COVID hit, apparently.
Okay.
Let's end on this bombshell from Swarna. She hopes that Andy will open a can of Irn-Bru while sitting in Novak's box. I don't think Andy's like ever touched Irn-Bru since he was like 10 years old. He just knows that it would like rot his insides. So,
yeah, immediately.
even when Andy's been asked what his like weaknesses when it comes to fizzy drinks, he's always said he likes Fanta, which I just think is an outrage, really.
Yeah, that is an outrage, to be honest.
You know,
That's an absolute disgrace. But I tell you what, though, if you did ask Andy who was nominated for Scotland's Coach of the Year, he'd be like, I tell you, that's Jack Edward right there. That's what he'd say.
He wouldn't know anything about that, I'm sure. Also, the other candidates are very good, so we'll see what happens.
But not as good as you, Jack.
no, not as good as you, Jack.
Not as good as you, Jack.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate the support. That really is a bombshell. Thank you very much, Claire. Thank you very much, Scott.
Thanks, Jack.
Talking tennis. I'm sure I'll see you both soon when Novak's in the final. I'm sure we'll be discussing that and
Sounds good.
how it really means Andy's won the Australian.
Finally won the Australian Open.
Is Novak gonna hand him the trophy, or like
Yeah,
they'll take a photo with it together, won't they? They'll take a photo, and
He'll thank him.
And Andy will upload an Instagram photo that says, "Finally got my hands on this one." I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Book it for Sunday, guys. It's happening. And on that bombshell.
I'll see you there, guys. I will see you there. Right. Thank you very much. This has been Talking Tennis. We'll see everybody soon. Cheers.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play.
And I mean, of course, there's the big story of Navarro having to fight so hard her way through this draw. I mean, she's reached her third straight quarterfinal at the Grand Slam, so basically, you know, she got a fantastic consistency at this level. But you know, she hasn't started the season in an amazing way level-wise, and it's kind of impressive for me to see how she still managed to, you know, to overcome all these difficulties that she's had. Of course, this was a big opportunity for both, regardless of the fact that there's Swiatek in the quarterfinals. I mean, for sure, because of course Kasatkina, you know, adding a quarterfinal at the Australian Open. I mean, it's still something, of course. Even if we know that the matchup against Swiatek is a bit tragic for her. And Navarro, I mean, just, you know, very resilient. She's playing now better and better, because I feel like this match was, I found it enjoyable. And now I'm kind of interesting because, you know, it's of course tough not to see Iga heavily favorite in the next match. But still, I mean, it's still gonna be for sure, I guess, a bit of tougher opponents compared to the ones she's had. Let's see how also well Navarro recovers physically, because she spent so many hours on the court. So probably we have kind of a similar situation that before, you know, we were thinking about the Sinner Alcaraz round 4 matches, you know, because we see Navarro as this sort of player who can, who knows, maybe challenge Iga when she's playing well, when she's incredibly fit. Everything has to go, of course, into the right way for her, but probably right now she's not in the best possible conditions. Also thinking that Iga basically hasn't spent any sort of energy so far in the tournament. So, you know, even for example, if the, you know, Swiatek doesn't play well right from the beginning and Navarro manages to pick up few games and prolonging the match a little bit, still Iga would have, you know, plenty of energies to use. So I struggle actually to see Navarro winning the next one. But, you know, for sure it's, you know, if we just compare where Navarro was 1 year ago, where we knew that she was, of course, growing, but still, you know, seeing her 8th in the world and 3 straight quarterfinals at a Grand Slam, it's still, you know, huge if you, you know, look at how well she has grown over the past, let's say, 18 months.
When it comes to Navarro Kasatkina, yeah, it was definitely quite entertaining. I think the difference between this and the previous Navarro matches was like this was one where she had all the chances to close it out. before finally, she could have actually wasted it. There was a 1 hour 15-minute break between the match points she had in the second set and the one in the third set. So that's insane. And it's not like Kasatkina didn't actually get to at least a small chance. She had a break point at 5-5 in the third. So definitely quite a tumult. I mean,
two break points actually.
2 break points, yeah. Stuff was happening there. Like Navarro easily could have choked that away. But she didn't. I think she's still going to be a pretty tough, a tougher opponent for Iga than Kasatkina would have been. That's pretty obvious, I think, considering how Iga has been destroying Dasha 6 matches in a row, never losing more than 3 games in a set. Of course, Kasatkina won on grass in 2021, but let's be honest, that doesn't matter. We've seen Iga hit through these slices so many times now. WTA finals was another Evalis and Raducanu type of match, also just 1 game. So basically, I think that it's good that Navarro pulled through. It's going to be a stronger test for Iga. Do I expect her to win? Not really. But of course, you're also right to point out that it wasn't that we were kind of doubtful about Navarro going into this event based on her quality. It was more so the fact that the form since the US Open seemed to have collapsed. But she has recovered it. And now she's going to play Iga, which, you can only really gain from this point. Making the quarterfinals, it's already great. Otherwise, you can only regain. So we do expect Iga obviously to be in the semis, but maybe Navarro can give her a bit more of a run for her money than Kasatkina would have. It's just a more unpleasant ball to face, I guess, for Iga. Even if, of course, Emma will not be able to attack as much as she was today against Kasatkina.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play.
Okay, so ciao. Not a very bad start for your first grass court match. How do you feel on the grass?
Well, feeling good. I arrived on Thursday, so I had a bit of practice in here, and the type that I play a bit more aggressively, it goes good. I go aggressively, and the game on grass is very quick. The points are very quick, so I like playing on grass. It's my 3rd time, but first on pro. So feeling so good, and winning with ex-top 20 guy Kyle. It means a lot for the first round. And,
he's obviously a very good player on grass as well. How does this give you confidence going into the summer?
For sure, yes. It was a good match, and I'm practicing a lot of my serve. So today was a good opportunity to close the doors my serve. So it gives me more confidence to go through this week.
And where are you thinking of playing this summer? Are you going to stay in Europe, in Germany, on the grass, or?
I'll play here, Nottingham and New Clay, and then if I go into Wimbledon, I'll play Wimbledon, and let's see.
Have you thought about playing Wimbledon? Is that something that you used to watch on TV, or?
It's my favorite Grand Slam, my favorite tournament. It's a dream if I play, but let's see.
Yeah. And you started the year 700 in the Worlds. You're now kind of knocking on the door at 200. Is that surprising you that it's happened at this age, at 17, or not surprising?
Yeah, I talk a lot of that in the interviews that I say. It's very surprising because I'm breaking the expectations of myself, others people. But I'm very happy the way that I'm playing, and the way that I'm improving. And I know I'm still in the process. I can go further and further, but let's keep the process humble and calm.
Yeah, it's key to stay humble, and I know it's quite hard to set objectives, but do you have any objectives for the summer or for the rest of the year?
I would say play a Grand Slam this year. I'm trying. I almost hit in Roland Garros. Let's see if I get into Wimbledon and maybe US Open. So maybe these are the objectives.
And are you watching the French Open at the moment?
For sure, yes.
Who do you think is gonna win?
It's difficult. It's open. I think maybe Sinner. I'm cheering for him. I like.
And when you're watching kind of the top guys like these guys playing in Grand Slam semi-finals and so what, does this give you inspiration and does it make you want to be there one day as well?
For sure, for sure. Watching Carlos and Sinner winning those Grand Slams so young, it gives me inspiration to go for it.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.